Welcome to a galaxy where humans are underestimated, until it's too late. Drop a "humans are watching" in the comments if you're ready to see what happens when arrogance meets hidden strength. Let's begin. Commander Drax Vizun adjusted his ceremonial armor as he strode down the polished corridors of the Galactic Military Academy. His clawed fingers brushed over rows of gleaming medals, each a testament to 37 cycles of ruthless service in the Vorathi Empire. Standing over 7 feet tall, with yellow slitted eyes and a bone ridge designed by evolution to intimidate, Vizun didn't need to speak to command fear. But he enjoyed doing so anyway. Another day babysitting multi-species garbage, he sneered. At his side, Lieutenant Pax. Nurok scurried to keep pace, data tablet in hand. "Yes, Commander. Very unfortunate, sir." Everyone knew Vizun's assignment to the Academy wasn't an honor. It was punishment. His brutality during the Rigelian conflict had drawn too much attention. Officially, it was called a rehabilitation post. Unofficially, it was exile. The Galactic Military Academy was the pride of the United Species Collective, a neutral ground where warriors from across 12 galaxies trained together. For Vizun, it was a prison of politics and weaklings. As they neared the main training arena, Vizun's jaw clenched at the sight of the day's schedule. Humans. Again, he spat, as if the word tasted foul. Discovered only 15 cycles ago, humans were the collective's newest, and in Vizun's opinion, most pathetic, addition. Soft-skinned, fragile, no claws, no natural armor, barely above prey. Species. Adaptability, Nurok offered carefully. Some reports suggest adaptability is a polite word for evolutionary failure, Vizun snapped. The arena doors hissed open, revealing rows of cadets at attention, 40 recruits from 17 species. Vizun's predatory gaze locked onto 6 humans scattered among them. Their smooth skin and rounded features made them look absurdly vulnerable beside armored Draxians and towering Tholians. He sneered, raising his voice for all to hear. "Look. At them, Nurok. They think they belong here. That they could stand beside real warriors. It's almost amusing." The human cadets didn't flinch. They kept their eyes forward, posture perfect. But Vizun thought he saw something in their expressions. Not fear, not submission. Was that amusement? If he'd been wiser, perhaps he would have paused. But Vizun wasn't wise. He was a predator who thought he already knew his prey, and today that mistake would cost him everything. Drop a lesson incoming in the comments if you're ready to see Commander Vizun push too far. Let's get into it. The vast arena hummed with latent energy as Commander Vizun paced before the assembled cadets. His sharp gaze swept over the diverse species, but it always drifted back to the humans. "Pathetic," he muttered loud enough for everyone to hear. Among the third row stood Cadet Maya Lockhart, calm and composed. At 24, the former Earth police officer had already scored in the 98th percentile on reflex tests, though that detail was conveniently buried deep in classified files. Vizun began his briefing, voice echoing through the chamber. Today's exercise is simple: threat assessment and neutralization under variable gravity conditions. The arena will shift between 0.5 and 2.5 standard gravities without warning. Adapt or fail. Maya's mind raced, not with fear, but with calculation. Humans thrived under unpredictable conditions. Earth's high gravity gave them a hidden edge in these scenarios. Vizun barked his command. "Computer, initialize scenario Vizun Delta 9. The arena transformed. Holographic walls rose, drones appeared, and the simulation began. Cadets scattered with military precision. Maya moved smoothly through the maze, pulse pistol in hand, eliminating targets while adjusting to sudden gravity. Shifts. But Vizun wasn't watching the others. He was watching her. When Maya stumbled, just briefly, as gravity dropped, Vizun's eyes gleamed. "Halt simulation!" he roared. The arena froze. Vizun stalked toward Maya, his towering form radiating disdain. "Cadet Lockhart," he sneered, deliberately mispronouncing her name. "Explain your failure." Maya stood tall. "Sir, I overcompensated for the gravity shift. It won't happen again, sir." Vizun circled her like a predator toying with prey. "You humans, so confident, despite your obvious inadequacies. Your species should never have been admitted here." The other cadets watched in tense silence. They knew Vizun's temper, but no one expected what came next. Without warning, Vizun's hand lashed out, striking Maya across the face. The sharp crack echoed through the arena. Even the fiercest species present flinched. Striking a cadet was forbidden. But Vizun didn't care. "Let that be a lesson in humility," he growled. Maya slowly turned back to face him, blood on her lip. But her eyes weren't those of a beaten cadet. They were the eyes of someone who had just decided enough was enough. Vizun had no idea that, in that moment, he hadn't just slapped a human. He had awakened something far more dangerous. You can push a human, but only so far. In Chapter 3, Commander Vizun is about to learn what happens when you mistake discipline for weakness. The arena was silent. Cadets from 17 species stood frozen, eyes locked on Cadet Maya Lockhart, the red mark blooming across her cheek, a thin line of blood at the corner of her mouth. Commander Vizun loomed over her, smug and oblivious to the ancient human rule he had just broken. You don't lay hands on a human and walk away unchanged. Maya's gaze remained forward, posture perfect. But behind her calm exterior, a decision was made. Her right eye twitched. Twice. Deliberate signal. Deep within her brain, a neural implant no larger than a grain of rice activated. The N7 Combat Enhancement System, Earth's most guarded secret. Officially, it didn't exist. Unofficially, every human in potentially hostile galactic environments carried one. Vizun turned away, addressing the cadets. Let this serve as a demonstration of proper discipline. He never finished. To Vizun, it was a blur. To Maya, time slowed as the N7 system surged through her body. Adrenaline, neural accelerants, and heightened perception. In 2.8 seconds, Maya stepped forward, seized Vizun's wrist, found the nerve cluster at his neck. Information humans weren't supposed to have, and dropped the towering commander face first onto the floor, his arm twisted painfully behind him. A gasp rippled through the arena. Lieutenant Nurok dropped his data tablet in shock. Vizun's snarling bravado vanished, replaced by a strangled gurgle as pain radiated through his body. Maya leaned in, her voice calm. Almost conversational. Interesting fact, Commander. Humans evolved on a death world. We've been surviving predators far worse than you for millennia. Vizun's claws scraped helplessly at the floor. We didn't join the collective because we needed protection, she continued. We joined because it was easier than conquering our way through it. The other human cadets subtly shifted posture, no longer blending in, but standing like soldiers ready to end a fight. Around them, alien cadets instinctively stepped back. Fear wasn't the right word. Realization was. Vizun, once the terror of battlefields, was now pinned by the very species he'd mocked, and Maya wasn't done yet. Vizun thought humans were weak, but Maya just shattered that illusion. Comment Death World rules. If you're ready for Chapter 4, where humanity's secrets start to unravel and the galaxy begins to panic, because this is just the beginning of the revelation. It's no longer just about discipline, it's about revelation. In Chapter 4, Maya teaches a lesson the galaxy will never forget. Let's dive in. Commander Vizun struggled against the impossible grip of Cadet Maya Lockhart. His mind raced, not with tactics, but with disbelief. How could this fragile-looking human overpower a decorated Caltharian war hero? Maya's voice was steady, almost clinical. Earth has been visited by 17 alien species long before we joined your collective, she said quietly. We were hunted, studied, abducted, so we adapted, not just biologically but mentally, strategically. She applied a precise pressure to the nerve cluster in Vizun's neck. The towering commander, who had once conquered star systems, let out a strangled gasp. Around them, the alien cadets watched in stunned silence as Maya continued her quiet lecture. Every human you see here carries a neural implant. It boosts our abilities far beyond what your scanners can detect. We wanted you to underestimate us. Lieutenant Nurok reached for his communicator, panic in his eyes. Without looking, Maya warned him. Don't bother. Security feeds are looped. Standard human operational protocol. Vizun's breathing was ragged now, his pride shattered. How is this possible? He rasped. Maya leaned closer, her words a whisper only he could hear. Because, Commander, we let you believe we were weak. It's easier to study predators when they don't see you as a threat. The realization dawned across Vizun's face, fear mixed with humiliation. The proud hierarchy of species that placed humans near the bottom was crumbling in that very moment. Maya eased the pressure slightly, allowing Vizun to speak. Please. Mercy, he choked out. Words no Caltharian warrior had ever dared utter before. Maya's expression remained unreadable. On Earth, Commander, we have a saying, respect is earned. And today, you've earned a lesson in human restraint. She released him, stepping back with flawless military precision. Vizun collapsed to the floor, gasping, not just from pain, but from the weight of a truth that would ripple across the galaxy. The other cadets, once dismissive, now looked at Maya and her fellow humans with a mix of awe and fear. For the first time, they understood. Humans hadn't survived by strength alone. They had survived by being smarter predators, and now the galaxy would have to adjust, or be left behind. The secret's out, and the galaxy will never see humans the same way again. Comment Predators in Disguise if you're ready for Chapter 5, where political shockwaves hit and humanity steps out of the shadows. The slap was just the spark. Now comes the explosion. In Chapter 5, secrets turn into shockwaves as Maya reveals exactly what humanity has been hiding. Let's begin. Commander Vizun sat on the cold floor of the training arena, his pride shattered, his body still trembling from the precision hold Cadet Maya Lockhart had executed. The other cadets watched in silence, witnesses to a moment that would become legend before the sun set on Terrace Prime. Maya stood tall, deactivating, her N7 neural implant with a subtle twitch of her eye. The enhanced clarity faded, but her control remained absolute. The doors hissed open. The Academy Overseer, Jackson Telmvier, entered with security in tow. His 6 silver-flecked eyes scanned the scene. The infamous Commander Vizun humiliated, Maya calm and composed. Report, Telmvier demanded. Lieutenant Nurok scrambled to explain, but it was Vizun himself who spoke. His voice hoarse, but laced with something Maya never thought she'd hear from him. Respect. Demonstration, Overseer. One I will not soon. Forget. Telmvir's communicator chimed. His expression shifted as he read the incoming alert. Protocol Eagle 7, triggered by Cadet Lockhart. Vizun's eyes widened. Your government authorized this? The Overseer nodded grimly. Only the highest levels of collective intelligence knew. Humans have been classified as deceptively dangerous since day one. A hologram flickered to life, displaying humanity's true classification, threat level Omega D3. The truth hit Vizun harder than any physical blow. Humans hadn't just been underestimated, they had orchestrated it. Every weakness displayed, every limitation shown, intentional. And now, the mask had slipped. The doors opened again, and in walked Ambassador Thalia Brightar, Earth's representative, a crystalline figure of elegance and power. Well, she said, with a knowing smile, I see the introductions went as expected. Maya snapped to attention. Ambassador! Brightar's gaze swept over the room. The truth was bound to surface. Now, we adapt. Vizun lowered his head, not in shame, but in acknowledgement. The galaxy's hierarchy had shifted in a single afternoon, and humanity was no longer the quiet newcomer. They were the silent apex. The collective knows the truth, but can they handle it? Comment deceptively dangerous if you're ready for Chapter 6, where political walls crumble and humanity steps into a new role. Fear spreads faster than light. In Chapter 6, the galaxy scrambles to understand the true nature of humanity, and Commander Vizun realizes he's just witnessed the beginning of a new era. By nightfall, word of Commander Vizun's humiliation had spread beyond the Academy walls, despite every official effort to contain it. In mess halls and military bunkers across Terrace Prime, whispers grew louder. The humans aren't what we thought. One of them dropped Vizun in seconds. They've been hiding tech and training. Vizun sat in a private chamber, nursing the lingering pain in his arm and the deeper ache in his pride. Across from him stood Ambassador Brightar, speaking with Overseer Telmvir and Lieutenant Nurok. Cadet Maya Lockhart stood silently, her presence alone commanding more weight than any rank insignia. The truth was inevitable, Brightar said smoothly. Humanity didn't reveal its strength today, out of arrogance but necessity. Vizun's jaw tightened. Why deceive us? He asked, his voice low. Not accusatory, but genuinely curious. Maya answered without hesitation. Because predators strike what they fear. We needed time to study the collective, to decide if peace was truly an option. Telmvir activated a holographic map, several species now flagged in red, indicating diplomatic shifts. Already the Throlian hegemony has reclassified humans to priority engagement. The Melterans are requesting defense treaties. The Regelians have ceased opposition to human colony expansions. Vizun let out a bitter chuckle. Fear is a powerful motivator. Brightar shook her head. No, Commander. Respect is. Fear fades, but respect changes the game. Vizun looked at Maya, this once weak human cadet who had dismantled his legacy in seconds, and for the first time he understood. Humans weren't a threat because of their weapons or enhancements. They were a threat because they chose when to reveal them. What happens now? Nurok asked, still pale. Brightar's crystalline skin shimmered as she smiled. Now? The collective learns to tread carefully, because today wasn't just a demonstration, it was a reminder. Her gaze locked with Vizun's, that humanity never shows its full hand until it's far too late. The galaxy is rethinking everything it thought it knew. Comment respect earned if you're ready for Chapter 7, where Earth's secret military programs come to light, and alliances. Start shifting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The real power play starts now. You thought neural implants were the secret? Think again. In Chapter 7, the galaxy gets a glimpse into Earth's real military strategy, and it's far more terrifying than tech alone. A classified briefing room deep within the Galactic military. Academy hummed with tension. Ambassador Brightar, Overseer Telmvir, Commander Vizun, Lieutenant Nurok, and Cadet Maya Lockhart stood around a holographic table projecting files that few in the galaxy even knew existed. Lines of encrypted data, scrolled past, schematics, combat protocols, and historical records long erased from public knowledge. At the center of it all was a glowing designation. Xenological Defense Initiative, Phantom Division. Vizun's eyes narrowed as he read. You've been preparing for interstellar war since before you joined the collective. Maya nodded. After first contact with hostile species, the Vex incident, we understood survival meant never being caught unprepared again. Telmvir interjected, his 6 eyes flicking between screens. The neural enhancers, interspecies combat techniques, even your diplomatic approach, it was all part of a long-term strategy. Brightar smiled faintly. Peace was always plan A, but humans survive by ensuring there's always a plan B. Through Z. Vizun's pride as a warrior had been shattered earlier, but now his strategic mind was fully engaged and impressed. You deliberately positioned yourselves as harmless while embedding super soldiers across collective space. Maya met his gaze without flinching. Correct. Every human cadet, diplomat, and officer is trained beyond what your databases even consider possible. A new file opened, showing combat doctrines, psychological warfare tactics, and the chilling efficiency of Earth's defensive programs. Neurox swallowed hard. This isn't defense. This is occupation readiness. Brighter didn't deny it. Let's just say humanity prefers to be underestimated until it's no longer convenient. Vizun leaned back, exhaling slowly. For the first time in his career, he realized the galaxy's most dangerous species wasn't the one with claws, scales, or fangs. It was the one that smiled politely, while planning for every possible outcome. And now, the galaxy was waking up to that reality. The Phantom Division is no longer a myth, and the galaxy is scrambling to adjust. Centuries of galactic order, undone in days. In Chapter 8, the collective realizes that humans were never beneath them. They were watching, waiting. The halls of collective high command buzzed with panic. Emergency sessions were called. Diplomatic. Channels overflowed with messages from species desperate to reassess their stance on humanity. Reports flooded in. The Throlian hegemony had reclassified humans to priority engagement. The Melterans offered a mutual defense pact, where days ago they wouldn't share airspace. Even the war-hardened Rigelians withdrew objections to human expansion. Fear wasn't spreading. It had already arrived. Back at the Academy, Commander Vizun walked through corridors that once echoed with his contemptuous remarks about humans. Now, cadets from every species gave respectful nods to Cadet Maya Lockhart and her fellow humans. The silent hierarchy that had placed species like the Caltharians at the top and humans at the bottom was shattered. In a private meeting, Ambassador Brighter addressed senior officers. "The era of underestimation is over," she declared. "Earth will no longer pretend to be less than it is." Vizun, still nursing the bruises to both body and ego, spoke up. "You forced the galaxy to respect you, but at what cost?" Maya, now wearing the insignia of a training instructor, answered calmly. "The cost of survival is always high, Commander. We just made sure we were the ones setting the price." Brighter tapped a holo display, revealing classified communiques from dozens of systems. The collective wasn't just adjusting, they were scrambling to appease humanity. Vizun stared at the shifting political landscape, alliances forming, treaties offered, objections silenced. He realized then, humanity hadn't disrupted the galactic order. They had redefined it, and the galaxy would never be the same. The collective bows, not out of fear but recognition. Earth isn't done, surprising them yet. A month ago, humans were ignored. Now, they're the standard everyone wants to follow. In Chapter 9, the galaxy learns that respecting humans isn't just wise, it's survival. The Galactic Military Academy had changed. Where once humans were overlooked, now cadets from every species watched them, some with caution, others with admiration. At the center of this shift stood Instructor Maya Lockhart, leading a mixed-species tactical team through an advanced combat simulation. From the observation deck, Commander Vizun watched with a critical eye, but this time it wasn't disdain he felt, it was genuine respect. "Adjust your formation," Maya commanded, her voice sharp but calm. "Remember, Hive Queens target perceived leaders. Conceal your hierarchy." The cadets moved instantly, adopting a human-designed formation that masked command roles, something no other species had ever considered before. When the simulation ended, the computer's voice echoed, "Scenario complete. Survival probability, 93%, new record." Vizun descended to the floor, his once towering presence now tempered by humility. "Well done, Instructor Lockhart," he said. using her new title, a battlefield promotion he himself had recommended. Maya offered a nod. "Thank you, Commander." The team adapts quickly. As they walked through the academy corridors, Theruun shared news that would have been unthinkable a month ago. The Collective War College has requested human instructors. Strategic. Operations, adaptive tactics, even special operations. I've endorsed your name. Maya raised an eyebrow, a hint of amusement in her expression. From questioning our place here, to recommending us as teachers. That's quite the turnaround. Theruun placed a hand over his chest in the Caltharian gesture of acknowledgement. I've also advocated for human officers on the Collective Defense Council. Some still call me a human sympathizer. His lips curled into what Maya now recognized as a Caltharian smile. They stopped laughing when I offered to demonstrate human combat techniques personally. They reached the observation deck, gazing out at the stars, beyond which political alliances were shifting faster than warp drives. Fear opens doors, Maya said softly, but respect keeps them open. Theruun nodded, and the galaxy now understands. It's wiser to stand with humans than against them. But as Maya glanced toward the distant blue-green speck that was Earth, she knew this was just the beginning, because humanity still had cards left to play, and soon, the galaxy would hear whispers of something far more ominous. The Phantom Protocol. Humans aren't just surviving, they're leading. The galaxy thinks it knows what humans are capable of. But in Chapter 10, they realize they've only scratched the surface. Drop a phantom awaits in the comments if you're ready to hear whispers of Earth's final ace. Let's finish this journey. 1 week after setting records at the Academy, Instructor Maya Lockhart stood aboard a diplomatic cruiser bound for Collective High Command. Across from her sat Ambassador Brighter, reviewing encrypted files projected in shimmering holographics. Highlighted at the top was a name most in the galaxy had never heard, but those who had spoke it in hushed tones. Phantom Protocol, Level Omega Clearance. Brightar glanced at Maya, her crystalline features reflecting. The dim light, revealing our neural implants was just the first layer, right? Maya smirked slightly. Of course. The galaxy needed to see a glimpse of our strength, but not the core of it. Brighter closed the file with a gesture. Tomorrow I address the Collective Council. They'll believe we've shown them everything. Maya leaned back, eyes thoughtful, as stars streaked past the viewport. Let them. The Phantom Protocol isn't for show. It's for when diplomacy fails, completely. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, rumors swirled faster than official statements could contain. Earth has deeper secrets. The neural implants were just a fraction of their capabilities. What is Phantom Protocol? In military academies, alien cadets began requesting human instructors. Defense councils redrafted strategies, now factoring humans not as auxiliary forces, but as potential pace-setters in warfare. And in dark corners of space where whispers became warnings, one phrase repeated. The humans were never unprepared. They were waiting. As the cruiser approached its destination, Maya stood, gazing at the galactic capital ahead. She knew this was only the beginning, because the true strength of humanity wasn't just in technology, tactics, or neural implants. It was in knowing exactly when not to reveal everything. And somewhere deep beneath Earth's surface, where no alien spy could reach, the Phantom Division waited, silent, unseen, and undefeated. The galaxy had learned to respect humans, but soon they'd learn to fear the shadows they cast. The slap was just the start. Now the galaxy knows. Humans don't show all their weapons, only the ones they want you to see. If you enjoyed this HFY tale, hit like, comment, Phantom awaits, and subscribe for more stories where humanity reminds the stars who they're dealing with. Until next time, remember, it's not what we reveal that should scare them. It's what we're still hiding.